and we are here again. Uh, Today's interesting, mainly because we hit a milestone. This is officially our 10th episode. I saw a stat online that said 25% of all the podcasts that exist only have one episode. So we're at 10, which is an amazing feat. And I think 60% of them have 10 or less. So we just climbed our way into the 40% now, which is good. But I want to start off how we always start off with some mindfulness, focusing on breath, starting now. And we always follow that up with a puzzle. I think I have one for you. It's what word is pronounced the same way if you take away 4 out of the 5 letters? What word is pronounced the same way if you take out 4 out of the 5 letters? We'll get to that at the end. Today, I was contemplating kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Now, obviously, we know the topic and the theme. It's always creativity. But it's just like life. You don't always want to be creative. I think even creatives and people, and again, when I talk about creatives, I don't necessarily mean it in a traditional sense, just like when I talk about art, creative in the sense of us as human beings who are in active pursuit of our creativity. At some point, we get tired of having to be creative all the time. And we search for downtime, time away from creativity. Because creativity can be can weigh heavy on you. It can make anything feel like over time like stressful and almost daunting. Just to have to be in that creative space 24/7. And we search for downtime, and downtime can mean different things for different people. For me, my downtime is not necessarily calm. It's almost distraction. And I'll give you an example. So, for some reason, yearly going into the fall, like the early fall months, I suffer from like insomnia of some sort. And I don't want to diagnose it as that, but I always have a difficult time sleeping in the early fall months for whatever reason. And when I'm up, as long as I'm up, my brain is activated. My creative mind is engaged. So these two things means that I'm up and my mind is racing. And the only thing I could do, or what I would do, is pick my phone up and scroll through social media. And as unhealthy as that may seem, in that moment, it is actually crucial and beneficial to me because it allows me to be distracted. It distracts my mind from having to want to be creative, wanting to solve problems, and I'm purely just focused on this these stimulations that are distracting, and I'm just caught up in this moment of like just scrolling through. And as much as my brain is being stimulated, I'm not forced to have to be creative. It's almost like a consumption more than anything else, rather than like a production of something. And I would do that all the time. And then for 30 minutes to an hour, by that time, I find myself dozing off and I could fall asleep. If I were not to do that, I would just be up for 2, 3, 4 hours. And then finally around maybe 5:30, it hits me, and then I sleep for an hour, and then I'm like back up again. And then I'll do my workout. But I need that downtime. I need that distraction. And I think a lot of creatives seek that, so they don't have to constantly be creating and being in that space. It takes a toll on your brain, on your mind, on your psyche. Just as how people always say stress can impact your physiological, your physical body. I think the demand that comes with being creative has the same level of impact on your body. So it's a conscious effort. So I try to find opportunities to distract myself. And if I think of my my daily life and the things I do, and as much as like we started this with mindfulness, you would think that mindfulness gives me downtime, when in reality it actually doesn't. What mindfulness does to me, and I've told it's almost synonymous to this experience. I used to do yoga way more than I do today. I don't know the last time I got on the mat, but I used to do. There was this time when I started yoga where I was focused more on the actual poses, and then it just became my body was resistant to it, because there's this slow movement, and then you held poses for a really long time. And I played sports that required almost this jittery, quick movements. So to go from that to that is a tough hurdle to overcome for me. But finally I did it, because I focused less on the physical aspect of it, and then started to appreciate the psychological aspect of it. But having gone through enough, I'd say by the third or fourth session, I found my zone, and it came at the end. There's a moment in yoga where you get to the corpse pose, shavasana, and it's a practice of mindfulness where you're in the moment, and in that moment your mind is clear and free. That is what I always chased, because in that moment when my brain is clear and free and uncluttered, it created a blank canvas for me. So every problem I had, any challenge I was trying to overcome, anything I was trying to solve, in that moment, everything became clear, and all the answers would come to me. Which sounds like great when you think about it, but in reality, it only created a space for me to be more creative, and then kind of go in this innovative space where I can solve all these problems, which is good when I'm trying to be creative. So I'm able to reach shavasana without having to do the yoga that leads up to it, the poses that lead up to it. I can do it on demand, and that's what mindfulness does for me. But when I talk about downtime, I'm not talking about that moment. Again, my downtime is more from a distraction standpoint. So where I experience it most is like doing like mundane things, like doing dishes. Like I'll just sit there, and it's distracting enough because I'm just going through this process of grabbing a dirty dish, wash, rinse, rack. Dirty dish, wash, rinse, rack. Dirty dish, wash, rinse, rack. And I go through this process where I'm not even thinking anymore. It's just happening. And I'm in a blank state, in the sense of I am conscious that I'm doing something, but that thing is so redundant that I get lost in it. And it is almost like time travel, because by the time I'm conscious again, or I regain just awareness of where I am and what I'm doing, the dishes are done. And I smile, because as much as it was some sort of time travel, in that moment, I wasn't creating. My brain wasn't doing anything but just existing. I was just existing. And that is the downtime for me. Same thing happens when I take a shower. There's a process of me showering. I shower in darkness, and I try to put on natural sounds, and if I tell you 90% of the time when I'm done showering, I don't even know that I actually showered until I reach for my rag and I feel that it was wet. Because from the moment I step into the shower, I go into almost like a daze, and I'm lathering, I'm scrubbing, washing, rinsing, and it's just that process repeated as I hit all my body parts. But I'm not even conscious that it's happening. Like if I close my eyes right now, I can go through the whole process of taking a shower almost in my sleep, because I'm so used to doing it, and I don't think when I'm in those particular spaces. Well, when I'm actually in the shower, and then when I'm conscious of time and realize how much time has passed, and as I go to either slide the curtain, and then I'll ask myself, "Damn, did I actually shower?" And again, it's not until I reach over and grab the rag and feel like it was wet, or there's still some sud in it. But that is how I get my downtime. That doesn't necessarily mean that you get your downtime the exact same way. And us as creatives, as I said before, I mean, we all need some sort of downtime. It is the thing that keeps us sane. It keeps us connected to ourselves. Almost it keeps us connected to society in the sense that it normalizes us, so we aren't on the go and on it actively and consistently over an extended period of time. We need that break. We need that the thing that separates us from our own normal. Now, with that said, as with anything, too much of anything isn't good, or can be bad. And some of us, we want to experience almost like a long-term separation from our creativity, and we seek these short-term satisfactory experiences, and we find spaces where that are redundant, that are complacent. We're around people that don't challenge us. We find these spaces that don't force us to be creative, and we do this for an extended period of time. And then that's when we find people who may have been living fully in their creativity are no longer living in their creativity, or people who never really found their creativity, but have found a place of complacency, and then they feel like they've lost their creativity. It's because they found comfort in that downtime. And I think it's affected a lot of us, because downtime it's earlier when I said I was like washing dishes or taking a shower, it's almost like time travel, right? And those particular events are like 15, 20 minutes, 30-minute exercise. But downtime can span a lifetime. You can wake up one day and you went from 18 and now you're 38. Now you're 50, and then you realize that instead of living a creative life, you found yourself just existing in the mundane, in hopes that you can continue to avoid this creative push. And then we find these spaces where we don't have to do anything. We don't have to think. We don't have to use our brain in any creative way. It's almost like an assembly line existence. And we find so much comfort in that. And time just passes us by. And creativity can be challenging. And I get it. Like I cannot, I don't wish it on a consistent basis constantly on anybody. It is demanding. It can be stressful. But I think that is life. I mean, it can. I think if a life without challenge is a life not worth living. And I'm saying that knowing the ramifications of that statement, or how it could be taken out of context. I'm purely talking about this idea that life is for living. And I think as much as we need those breaks so we can maintain our sanity, I think it's important that we realize the benefits of the times we are our creative self, and lean on that to draw us back from the downtime. Because again, you can get comfortable in the downtime, and I think a lot of us actually do. And I find myself in those moments, so I'm not exempt from it. And I talked about it maybe like 2 or 3 episodes ago, where as a startup founder, I was just doing busy work for an extended period of time. And now that I'm looking back at it, it was downtime for me. I wasn't being forced to be creative, and I kind of felt like a tool more than anything else, and I didn't like that feeling. And that's why I got back to the things, like force myself to be creative consistently and for an extended period of time. And like I said, in my daily life, I still find spaces where I can distract myself enough so I don't feel the pressure of having to be creative every second of every day. Showers are still like extremely important to me beyond the fact that a daily shower for my own health or hygiene. I'm saying it psychologically, the experience that I have within a shower and the time travel that happens in that moment is distracting enough for me to walk in stress and then walk out with a clearer mind, with that pocket of distraction that helps me kind of get through the rest of the day. And those are things that I look forward to. So I'm saying all that to say, distraction isn't, downtime is needed. You have to decide how much of it you need to maintain balance in your creative life. For a lot of us, we need it more than we need others. I think it's one of those adjustable knobs. Some days you need it more than others. And it's there's nothing wrong with having an extended period of downtime. For a lot of people, vacation does that for them. Not so much for me, because my first episode, I said traveling re-inspires me, gets me motivated. It allows me to be creative. So when I travel or I go on vacation, it's this creative rush, and this influx and infusion of creativity into my life. So I will end this by saying this. Don't take the downtime for granted, and don't be too hard on yourself because you take downtime. Creativity is taxing on the body, on the mind. And it's okay to find these spaces where you can separate from it, and not feel guilty about it. Figure out what is your downtime, and then ask yourself, like, is this giving me the refuge that I need? And if it is, lean on it. I think we all, whether consciously or unconsciously, have a refuge from creativity. Again, for me, it's dishes or taking a shower. For others, it's their job, right? Like the job they go to every day is the distraction they need from their creativity. For others, it's just their life and their friends. But figure out what is yours and ask yourself, what are you running from? What about creativity has you running away from it? This is innately like who you are. We're inherently creative beings. So the further the more downtime you take for an extended period of time, and the further you are away from your creativity, you are almost forcing yourself to be less human. Because again, creativity is a part of what makes us whole. With that said, I'll go back to the riddle that started us off. What is pronounced the same way if you take 4 out of the 5 letters out? And the answer is Q, as in a line, as in an assembly line, as in get out of the assembly line, get back to being creative. Use the downtime when you need it, but get back to life, get back to being human. Thank you for listening for these last 10 episodes. And almost on clockwork, a timer, so see you next week, hopefully. I don't know if I'll take a break, but I don't know if this is gonna be what do they call it, season 1, or I'm just gonna continue down 11, 12, 13, and so on and so forth. Next milestone is like 50. All right, peace, be great.